Let's get this straight at the start of the video. Yes, the Detroit Red Wings are not doing all too great. And also, yes, I don't really think it's all too productive to start pointing fingers and trying to identify a scapegoat. But in this video, we're going to point some fingers and try to identify a scapegoat. Maybe not the scapegoat as to how everything has gone, but one of the cogs in the machine that maybe isn't spinning as well as it should be. Because today what I wanted to do was talk about a conversation surrounding Detroit Red Wings defenseman Ben Chiarot that has started to make the rounds on social media. Chiarot is 34 years old, 6'3", 223, and he recently signed a contract extension worth $3.85 million a year that will take him until 2029, where he will be 38 years old. Yeah, no, 34, he turns 35 next month, so we can round up essentially. He'll be 38 at the end of the deal. Right now he's making $4.75 million. The contract that he had signed is that $3.85 million. And for the most part, Ben Chiarot has had a pretty up and down career with the Detroit Red Wings. It's been like that, honestly, for most of his career. From Winnipeg over to Montreal, seeing him inevitably get traded over to Florida, a team that wanted him, used him, didn't win a Stanley Cup championship with him. They only won after he was gone. But for years in Montreal and Florida, and then inevitably Detroit, Ben Chiarot was this guy that you could say had a very particular skill set. He's not particularly amazing at moving the puck. He's not a playmaker. He doesn't score points. But this guy, when the going gets tough, and when the playoffs start, he enters a brand new level and territory of usefulness. Ben Chiarot is big, he can play mean, he can play unabashedly aggressive, and he can torture your opponents. It's why he was such a valuable player for the Canadiens when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals back in 2021, even though he only had 2 points. Ben Chiarot in that playoff run was eating minutes like crazy in these playoff games. 24, 25-minute games. Sure, some of them ended up going to overtime, but even the ones that were in regulation, Ben Chiarot was still playing 27, 26 minutes a night. He was amazing. And he didn't score. That's just how much value he brought with his physicality. The Red Wings, evidently, see similar things in Chiarot. It's why they ended up signing him to the contract that he has got. And this season, he's got 12 points in 74 games played, on pace for roughly the same amount of points as he had last year. But here's a post made by JFresh, the Brian Griffin of hockey Twitter, that talks about how the Detroit Red Wings have a 7-10-3 record since January 28th. The shutdown pairing, quote-unquote, of Falk and Chiarot have a 36% goal share and a 42% expected goal share. Hashtag Let's Go Red Wings. Now, what does this mean? Well, essentially, when Chiarot and Falk are on the ice, of the goals that are scored between either team, 36% of those goals are Red Wings goals. And then for the expected goals share, 42% of the expected goals that occur on the ice are for the Red Wings. This essentially means that when Falk and Chiarot are out there, they are getting outchanced and they are getting outscored. And it's been like that ever since this pairing started working out together. JFresh then replied saying, a less petty man than me would choose not to point out that January 28th is when Chiarot signed his extension. He also might not mention that since signing his extension, Chiarot has been outscored 17-9 at 5v5. Yeah, JFresh is a Penguins fan, so you can fill in the blanks there. But still, this is a notable date because once Ben Chiarot got that extension, it's when things really started to look sour for his analytical profile and in regards to some of the pretty basic stats of goals for and goals against at 5v5. Now, this, of course, was met with some pushback from Red Wings fans. It was posted onto the R Detroit Red Wings subreddit, and some of the top comments go out there and say, hey, at this point, it's pretty hard to tease out he is bad now from he is playing injured. All I know is that Chiarot was actually pretty good earlier in the year. Either way, this team needs to get some depth so that underperforming and injured players don't have to be relied upon so heavily. Ken and Mickey leaked on the broadcast yesterday Chiarot was dealing with a pretty significant injury since January. Now, that's a pretty good timeline if you wanted to say that Ben Chiarot just all of a sudden started playing poorly after getting his contract extension. If he did start to get some pain, some wear and tear around that time, yeah, it makes sense why that would be the turning point when everything broke down analytically. Elliot Friedman also said on 32 Thoughts 2 weeks ago that he heard the Wings are health-wise running on fumes. It sounds like it's more than Ben Chiarot. I mean, considering Larkin keeps buckling his own knee and injuring himself, we can assume he's playing through something pretty bad too. And then there's another conversation. I would not be shocked if this is Larkin's last contract. Okay, we're gonna skip over that conversation for now. Ben Chiarot, at the moment though, is being one of the main guys when you talk about Red Wings players that are doing well and playing poorly. There were a number of replies also talking about the fact that he could supposedly not be of the best health. Katie Lady said this, I'm not a Ben Chiarot fan by any means, and with his history, I understand calling him out. But per the guys on the broadcast, he is one of the many Red Wings playing through severe injuries. We don't know what the injury or injuries may be. Maybe it's nothing, but it's not all on him. So there are a number of fans still going to bat for Benny. Some are going out there and just acknowledging the pain. They always stick him with the kids too, call-ups and the new guys. Ben Chiarot deals with so much garbage, in my opinion. He's pretty much been a player/coach his entire time here. I was hoping Falk would be able to bring some consistency, but that hasn't happened at all. Jay Fresh likes to pump his own tires. When I'm watching these games, one of the last things on my mind is, gee, I really wish we didn't sign Chiarot to a contract extension. In this 20-game sample size, when the whole team has sucked, he's -8 at 5v5, which is giving up 0.4 goals per game. Am I supposed to be moved by that? No one is scoring or assisting goals except our 5'7" second-line winger and his 37-year-old past his prime teammate. Jay Fresh has been so anti-Chiarot since before his Detroit days and will jump on any opportunity to try and crap on the guy. And yeah, I will agree with that. Jay Fresh has a very set amount of opinions that we have come to get familiar with over the years. Still appreciate the work that he does, though. Obviously, is a very valued voice in the hockey community. The goal differential with Chiarot is meaningless when the whole damn team isn't scoring, and they're always under siege. Yeah, that makes sense too. I'll agree with that. Chiarot still needs to be on the third pair, either with Albert Johansson on his offside or with JBD. The Red Wings need a true top-four left-side defenseman behind Ed. That said, 5v5 scoring is a much greater off-season need now. A top-line left wing, a 2C, and overhauling their jerseys in the bottom six needs to be the priority. So with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this finger-pointing, the scapegoating, the acknowledgement that Ben Chiarot is one of the guys that has not been playing all too well? Is this an isolated thing? Is it enough to single out Chiarot as a whole? Or are the Red Wings entirely just not playing all too well, therefore it's kind of unfair to just label one guy in the ways that Chiarot is being labeled? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.